All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We are diving straight into some pretty massive news coming out of the Euroleague today.
Huge news.
Yeah, you've probably seen the headlines buzzing around, but we want to, get into the why behind it. Kendrick Nunn, Panathinaikos Actor Athens guard. He's officially the Euroleague MVP for the 2024-25 season.
That's the one. It's a massive award and definitely worth unpacking.
Absolutely. So for this deep dive, we've got the official announcements from Euroleague, various articles breaking down his season, and even some sound bites from his coach, his teammates, the people right there with him.
Exactly. The mission here is really to understand why Nunn got this nod. What's the story behind the headlines you might have seen? What made him stand out?
Okay, so first things first. Euroleague basketball made it official. Nunn is the guy. What's the immediate context here? How significant is this for Panathinaikos?
Well, it's pretty historic for them, actually. He's only the second player in Panathinaikos history to snag this award.
Only the second. Wow. Who's the first?
The legend himself, Dimitris Diamantidis, way back in the 2010-11 season. So yeah, Nunn's joining some seriously elite company within that club.
That really puts it in perspective. I also caught something about Nunn having a bit of fun with the trophy itself, like on social media.
Huh, yeah, just a little lighthearted comment. They mentioned hoping the actual MVP trophy looks a bit different from his MVP of the Month award.
Okay. Shows a bit of personality there.
Yeah, maybe hinting at the step up in significance,
Right. So let's get to the core of it, his performance. What drove this? Talk us through the regular season numbers.
Okay, so the stats are frankly staggering. Across 33 games, he put up 21.1 points per game. That's in just over 31 minutes a night.
21 points. That's serious scoring.
It is, and the efficiency was key. He shot 57.3% on twos, a blistering 42.6% from three.
Wow, over 42% from deep.
Yep, and 85.6% from the free throw line. Plus, you add in 3.6 rebounds, 4.1 assists, and a steal per game. Just really well-rounded production.
Those are definitely MVP caliber numbers. And wasn't there another big individual award he picked up this season, too?
That's right. He wasn't just the MVP. He also walked away with the Alfonso Ford Trophy.
Ah, for the league's top scorer.
Exactly. So leading scorer and most valuable player, that's a statement season.
Okay, this is where I think it gets really interesting. People are talking about how his game, evolved this season, especially that three-point shot. Can you break that down?
Yeah, this is a big part of the story. The data really shows a significant shift. Last season, he was taking around 4.9 threes a game, making about 2. Respectable.
Okay.
But this season, he upped the volume significantly, 7.2 attempts per game. And he was hitting 2.9 of them. That efficiency jump to 42.6% is huge.
So more attempts and better accuracy.
Precisely. And get this, ended up setting a new EuroLeague record for the most three-pointers made in a single season, 101 threes.
101. That's incredible. How did becoming such a dangerous outside shooter change the rest of his game?
Well, it had this massive ripple effect. Defenses had to close out hard on him on the perimeter. They couldn't sag off.
Right. Opens up everything else.
Exactly. That created driving lanes for him to attack the rim or, crucially, draw defenders and kick out to teammates. So his assist numbers went up too.
Makes sense.
And if you look at the total points he created for Panathinaikos, his own scoring, plus the points off his assists, it comes out to 30.3 points per game.
30 points a game he was responsible for.
Directly responsible for, yeah. That was second best in the entire EuroLeague. Shows he wasn't just a gunner, he was making the whole offense better.
So a much more complete offensive weapon this year. And I heard talk about his dominance in pick and roll situations specifically.
Oh, yeah, that was a key strength. The numbers paint a clear picture. Kendrick Nunn was, statistically, the best pick-and-roll ball handler in the EuroLeague this season in terms of efficiency.
Better than TJ Shorts.
Yeah.
Because Shorts ran a ton of pick-and-roll for Paris.
Right. Shorts had more volume, more possessions running it. But Nunn was generating 1 full point per possession on those plays.
Right.
Shorts was at 0.89.
Okay, that difference, 1 versus 0.89, might sound small, but over a whole season, that adds up, especially in close games.
Absolutely. Those margins are everything at this level. And, looking deeper into Huddle Instat data, only one player, Rokas Jokubaitis, had slightly better efficiency.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but Jokubaitis ran significantly fewer pick and rolls. So Nunn's efficiency over that high volume is really, really impressive. It speaks to his consistency in those key actions.
It really feels like he took a leap this year. You hear fans calling him the king of the EuroLeague. Is that just hype, or is there something to it?
Well, look, the King talk definitely captures the feeling around his season, right? It was his second year. He built on a strong first season and just exploded.
Yeah.
His usage rate was high, 29.9%, seventh in the league. But he turned that usage into the scoring title and the MVP. So is he objectively the single best player? That's always up for debate, you know.
Sure, always subjective.
But is he the MVP based on this season's performance and the voting? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the objective fact.
Speaking of the voting, how does that actually work? Who decides the MVP?
It's a pretty interesting mix, actually. It's not just one group. So the fans get say their votes count for 10%.
Okay, fan input.
Then you have the media, journalists covering the league, they account for 20%.
Right.
And then the biggest chunks come from the insiders. The head coaches of all the teams get 35%, and the team captains also get 35%.
Ah, so heavily weighted towards the coaches and players themselves. That gives it a lot of credibility.
Exactly. It's peer recognition, expert recognition, plus media and fan perspectives. A pretty comprehensive process.
So who else was really in the running? Who were the other top finalists?
The other two main contenders, the guys who finished second and third in the voting, were Sasha Vezenkov from Olympiacos.
Last year's MVP, right?
The very same. He came in second.
Yeah.
And TJ Shorts from Paris Basketball finished third.
Okay, strong field.
Definitely. And it's worth noting, all three of them, Nunn, Vezenkov, and Shorts, were also named to the All-Euroleague first team.
Alongside who?
Alongside Carson Edwards and Nigel Hayes-Davis. So that first team really reflects who the top dogs were this season.
Gotcha. That definitely shows the elite level Nunn was competing against. Let's zoom out a bit. Talk about the historical weight of this award for Nunn personally, and maybe for American players in the Euroleague.
Yeah, this is pretty significant historically. Think about this. Nunn is only the 20th player ever in Euroleague history to win the MVP award.
Only the 20th. Wow, that's a very small club.
It really is. And even more exclusive. He's only the third American player to ever win it.
Just the third. Who are the others?
Anthony Parker, who actually won it twice back in the mid-2000s.
Right, Maccabi legend.
Exactly. And Mike James, who won it more recently with Monaco.
Yeah.
So Nunn joins a very, very short list of American MVPs.
That's actually surprising given how many talented American players come through the Euroleague.
It is, isn't it? It highlights how difficult it is to achieve. And just to add, Anthony Parker is still the only player, American or otherwise, to win it more than once.
Okay. And for Panathinaikos, you mentioned Dam and Titus in 2011. That's quite a gap.
Yeah, over a decade.
Yeah.
Between MVP awards for the Greens. It really underscores what a huge moment this is for the club and its fans.
You've got to imagine the reaction has been massive from the team, the organization. What have we seen?
Oh, absolutely ecstatic. The official Panathinaikos AK Tour social media was pretty direct. Nunn, congratulations. You are officially the king of the competition. MVP, MVP, MVP.
Can't get much clearer than that.
Yep. Really captures the mood over there.
What about the coach, Ergin Ataman, and Nunn's teammates? What are they saying?
Well, Coach Ataman acknowledged it was totally deserved. He praised Nunn's season, called his performances exceptional. But being Ataman, he also immediately pivoted to the bigger picture.
Which is?
Winning the Euroleague title. He basically said, great award, you earned it, now let's go win the whole thing. Classic coach mentality.
Focus on the next goal. Makes sense. And his teammates.
Lorenzo Brown was super enthusiastic about it. He talked a lot about Nunn's work ethic. Said he's always the guy staying late after practice, putting up hundreds of extra shots.
Wow.
Yeah, highlighted his professionalism. Brown even shared a little anecdote about how the whole team celebrated the news together. Sounds like genuine respect and camaraderie there.
That's great to hear. It speaks volumes when your peers recognize not just the talent, but the grind behind it. Okay, let's circle back to the stats for a second. We know he led in scoring. Any other specific areas where he really dominated statistically?
Yeah, beyond the 21.1 points per game average, his clutch performance really stands out. He actually led the entire EuroLeague in fourth quarter scoring.
Leading scorer in the final quarter, that's clutch.
Averaged 6.3 points in the fourth. And if you look at points created, his scoring plus assists in the fourth quarter, he led the league there too, with 9 total.
So when the pressure was highest, he delivered.
Consistently. And overall, across the whole game, he was second in total points created, just underlining his offensive engine role all season long.
It really sounds like winning this award was something he was aiming for, something he really wanted.
All signs point to yes. It seems like it was a major personal goal for him. And to achieve it in just his second year with Panathinaikos, adding it to the EuroLeague title he won previously. Sorry, wait, check that. The EuroLeague title wasn't previous. That's the goal now. But adding the MVP to this year's scoring title, it's a huge accomplishment in a short time.
Got it. And just hammering home the histories now in that tiny club of American MVPs.
Yep. Anthony Parker, Mike James, and now Kendrick Nunn. That's the full list. Parker, the only multi-time winner so far.
What about MVPs from Greek teams or Greek players themselves? Any interesting history there?
Yeah, a bit. So Nunn makes it 6 times the MVP award has gone to a player on a Greek team. And 4 actual Greek nationals have won it over the years. And here's a potentially interesting omen for Panathinaikos fans.
Yeah.
7 previous EuroLeague MVPs have gone on to win the championship in the very same season.
Ooh, okay. So history suggests the MVP can lead his team all the way that same year. Adds a layer to their playoff run.
Definitely something fans will be holding on to as they head into the playoffs.
All right, so as we kind of pull this together, let's just quickly recap Nunn's overall statistical impact this season.
Sure. So 33 games played, the key averages: 21.1 points, 3.6 rebounds, 4.3 assists, slight correction there from earlier, 4.3 assists, and 1 steal per game.
And that resulted in?
An average performance index rating, the PIR, which bundles everything together, of 20.3, elite numbers across the board.
And summed up perfectly by his own team, king of the Euroleague.
For this season, absolutely.
What were some of the key takeaways from the official Euroleague announcement? What did they emphasize?
They really hit on a few core themes. Obviously, his scoring brilliance was front center, but also his leadership, how he stepped up, and those clutch performances we talked about. They mentioned the voting breakdown, showing that broad support. They highlighted the scoring title, the record number of total points scored. His all-EuroLeague first-team selection was noted, too.
Did they mention how he played down the stretch of the season?
Yes, specifically pointed out how his production increased in the second half, especially after Matthias Lasort picked up an injury. Showed he could carry a heavier load when needed.
Important context.
They also gave examples of those monster games, the 39-point explosion against Milan, other 30-point nights, just showing his ability to completely take over. They used words like poise and confidence. And finally, they linked his performance directly to team success. Panathinaikos' strong 22-12 record, securing home court advantage for the playoffs, where they're facing Anadolu Efes.
Right, setting the stage for what's next. It really does paint a complete picture of a dominant season.
No doubt about it.
So, wrapping up this deep dive on Kendrick Nunn's MVP win, it's clear this wasn't just about numbers, though the numbers were fantastic. It was the culmination of, well, an incredible individual run.
Yeah, truly exceptional.
And it makes you think, what really defines an MVP? Is it just the stats you can point to on a sheet? Or is it that, that feeling when a player just takes over, changes the game, lifts his whole team, those clutch moments?
It's usually a combination, isn't it? The stats back up the impact you see on the court.
Exactly. So the final thought for everyone listening, with Nunn now officially crowned MVP and playing at this level, what does that mean for Panathinaikos' 8-cake tour heading into these massive EuroLeague playoff games? How far can he lead them?
That's the big question now, isn't it? The MVP narrative continues on the court. It'll be fascinating theater.
For sure. Definitely something to keep a close eye on. Thanks for digging into this with us today.